Yo, what's going on, Internet? Welcome to another Deck Tech. Presumably, we're 2 weeks out from Origins dropping on the consoles and everything else. The iPad supposedly comes out on the 8th, but who knows at this point. At one point, it was quote-unquote reported that Origins is going to have cross-platform play. That's since been debunked. But anyways, so presumably, you have 2 weeks until Origins, so we're going to keep doing 2015 decks until then. This time, it's Hakim's Abzan Lifegain deck with my changes. It's really not too many changes, really. I think the biggest change is I run both Sanguine bonds and got rid of... I don't even know what he's running anymore, but I think he's running a Baneslayer and a Grizzlebrand or a Kozilek or whatever. I'm not running that stuff. I'm more of a synergy guy than just play a big dude or play a single card guy. I like all my cards to work together better. Anyways, real quick, four lone missionaries, 1 Seance, 3 Angelic Accords, 1 Planar Cleansing, 2 Sanguine Bonds, 1 Sheoldred, 2 Rune-Scarred Demons, 4 Elvish Visionary, 4 Satyr Wayfinder, 4 Cultivate, 4 Saruli Gatekeepers, 3 Pelakka Wurms, and 3 Treasured Finds with 24 lands, and I actually need to change this. I meant to do that before I started recording, but there we go. 24 lands. I actually go full half Guildgates because I worry that much about the Gatekeepers, and plus, the manas can get really funky. We have double white, triple white, double black, triple green, green black. So, and this isn't really a fast deck, so I don't mind having that many tap lands. I'd rather just not have to worry about my mana. So really the core of the deck is to abuse Angelic Accord. Whenever you gain 4 life, you put a 4/4 angel into play. It only happens once a turn per Angelic Accord. And then with that, also abusing the Sanguine Bond. So how are we gaining the life to abuse those 2 cards? We have the 4 Lone Missionaries, 4 apiece. We have the 4 Gatekeepers, that's 7, and the 3 Pelakka Wurms, that's 7. And we have a little bit of a graveyard theme, which is, aside from the Sanguine Bond and the Demons and the Sheoldred, the reason to splash black is, to get a little bit more value off Satyr Wayfinder if you have a Treasured Find in hand. Also Sheoldred, and also just a single Seance. But I think it's good enough, to leave in. I think it's actually better than a Baneslayer or a Grizzlebrand or a Kozilek in this shell. Gain a little bit more value off your Wayfinders. Effectively draws you cards with Wayfinders if you have a Treasured Find in hand and whatnot. We have a 1 Panic Cleansing, not 2, because you do bin a lot of cards with Wayfinder that you can get back with Treasured Find. Maybe Cleansing's one of them, or you can always just we have 2 Rune-Scarred Demons, so you can always grab it if necessary. I also don't want 2 because this is a very permanent based deck. You want your Accords to stick, your Seance to stick, your Bond to stick. So this is a true panic cleansing in true sense of the word. But sometimes, you can just, set up, get to 7, 8 mana, and before you start dropping all your stuff, you can just cleansing away and then drop all your stuff afterwards. I actually run 2 Rune-Scarred Demons in this deck, usually, so you don't really know what you want to get. Sometimes you get the Sheoldred, sometimes you get a Bond to close out the game, sometimes you get an Accord, sometimes you even get a Treasured Find to get that Planar Cleansing back. So, I think 2's fine. You can't run any more. Would I run more than 2 if I could? I don't really think so. I don't even think there'd be room. As far as the low drops, I have Elvish Visionary to cycle. I like it more than the Wall of Omens because it can, get rid of a token or a Young Pyromancer, an Elite Vanguard, whatever. Satyr Wayfinder again, grabs you a land. I usually don't like to play these if I don't have a Treasured Find in hand. Say it's turn 2, and I know I'm hitting a land on turn 3, I'll actually Visionary over Wayfinder the vast majority of the time. But if I have a Treasured Find in hand, I usually will just, blow the Wayfinders. And so we have a Cultivate, help fix their mana, but ramping's important too. We have a lot of expensive stuff, and a lot of stuff you want to play together. you'd like to, get to 8 mana or 6 mana, play an Accord and a Missionary in the same turn. I mean, sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. But, the ramping's good. Gets all that other stuff out of your deck. Filters your deck. I mean, we only have 12 basics. But, with 4 cultivates, you're not really going to whiff on a cultivate unless the game's going super long. And then as far as, I mean, Rune-Scarred can finish a game on his own, technically. So can a Pelakka Wurm. But really the only card we have, that's just, a bomb, really, on its own is a Sheoldred. And, she made it in because, the Wayfinder value. And really, with the Sheoldred, every creature that a Sheoldred can return has an enter the battlefield effect. And every creature a Seance can return has entered the battlefield effect, with the exception of the Sheoldred. And so, yeah, as far as the lands go, I mean, we have our color distribution, 9, 8, 22. So we're going to run all 12 Guildgates for the Saruli Gatekeepers. And then we'll just split our mana up like this. So really we got 14 green sources, 11 black, 11 white. I mean, we have way more green, than, the other colors. But most of our green in the early game, you only need a single green, Sometimes in the early game you need a double white, double black, so kind of want to make sure, we don't miss out on those. But other than that, you just kind of survive till you can start throwing out these enchantments and then triggering them and just go into town. Like I said, I like the Sanguine bond better because that actually, will win you the game. Like when you start playing, Gatekeepers, Pelakka Wurms, Missionaries, recurring them, I mean, you're doing 4 or 7 damage every time. And then if you have 2 out, each one triggers on its own. Same thing with the Accord, each one will trigger out on its own. Another thing with the Seance and the Accord, the Seance is one of the few, actually I think it's the only way that you can trigger an Angelic Accord on your opponent's turn by bringing back, a Missionary, Wurm, Gatekeepers, whatever. So, slow deck, but gets the job done. Mostly just, really weak against counter magic. You don't really have a whole... Really, there's no removal outside of Planar Cleansing and I guess Sheoldred. You usually gain enough life and just, flood the board with angels or just flat out kill them. That's not too big a deal. But yeah, that's the deck. I really think the only difference between mine and Hakim's is these Sanguine bonds are probably just some beefy creature, some beefy I win creature sometimes. But we really don't have any good removal targets, so a lot of our opponents' removal is going to be kind of sad. I mean, they remove a Rune-Scarred Demon, we already got value out of it. They remove a Pelakka Wurm, without exiling it, we're going to get some value, and we already got value for casting it anyways. And really, Sheoldred is the only thing, you cast this into, you can get blown out with the Reprisal and get no value off of Sheoldred. That's really, the only real danger that I can think of, aside from it just flat out getting countered. But anyways, that's the deck. We're going to run this through 3 episodes. I think in 2 weeks, maybe I can do 3 more decks. Maybe get some games against Hakim or whatever. And then we'll be in Origins land, and we'll see how that goes. Still no, at least as of right now, no idea still what the economy looks like. What actual cards are going to be in it, how many. I mean, there have been conflicting reports that, only Duel's Origins cards are going to be in there. But, I've seen, players playing with Honor of the Pure, and that's not in Match Duel's Origins. So, we have no fucking clue. So, great job, Wizards. Marketing team rules. But, alright. We will be back soon for some gameplay. Thanks for tuning in. Later.